Hey, y'all. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time to the Electric Vibe podcast. I am one of your three co hosts, J. David, the Electric Man Silva, and I am excited because the full crew is in effect. We are welcoming back our brother who's been gone for a couple of episodes, our man, Harlan Hucky Austin. Hucky, welcome back. Good to see you, brother.
What's up, man? I'm glad to be back. I've been undercover, man.
Deep undercover.
Yeah, but I'm glad to be back with my brothers. I'm super excited about our show today. And so without further ado, let me kick it over to Kurt, Baltimore Colts. No, wait a minute. Kurt Stevens Hoffman.
Both actually apply. I mean, I did get to meet Johnny Unitas when I was a kid. So that's a story I've told you multiple times.
Cleats, like, remember Johnny Unitas used to wear them high top cleats? Do you have any of those around the house? Oh,
Not me. I'm not that. I'm I'm not as old as some people in the podcast. Like, I don't have. That's okay. But listen. So speaking of which, and Hockey, I'll redeem myself partially here. Remember, you are not your average grandpa. Speaking of not your average grandpa, check out Hockey's new Facebook page that he's got out there in the social called Not Your Average Grandpa. And let me tell you, you are styling and profiling on that the suits and all the looking sharp. You know, you could have been in a ZZ Top video back in the day, bro. So,
I'm going to jump in real quick. And while you're doing that, please remember to follow, like, and subscribe to the Electric Vibe podcast.
Yes. How could I be remiss in forgetting that, Jay? You usually come in at the end with that. So here we go. All right, so folks, I am just thrilled that we have with us back again, Mr. Damon Dickson. Damon, we're going to give you your flowers while you're here, man. While you're here, at first, Reverend Dickson. He knows why I call him that. He knows why I call. I'm forever your deacon, man. Deacon Hoffman's in the house. I'm going to give the book of Damon right now, chapters 1. Verses 1 through 2. So your heads, everybody. Now, seriously, Damon, how many titles can we give you here? Answer: choreographer, background vocalist, percussionist. You even produced a group at one time, The Core. I done did my homework now. Come on now.
Yeah.
From all the way from Lubbock, Texas. He's got 3 sisters. Moved to Minneapolis back in the early 70s. Founded To Be Rude with Tony Mosley in 1983. They had a dance group together. They are featured as the Game Boys in Purple Rain. You've seen him in Graffiti Bridge. I mean, he was a part of the NPG for the Diamonds and Pearls and the Love Symbol album. And this guy comes.
The new power generation. That MPG thing was something after us. I don't know.
Oh, that's true. Okay. Right. Thank you for correcting me on that. But he can add one more title to his name. Well, actually 2 more titles. Husband,
Okay.
just married a beautiful patient, and author. So he has a new book out, and let me get that book up from the front here so people can see it. Okay, so we got the Damon Dickson Story here, and he chronicles his life from his beginnings in Lubbock, Texas, all the way up through today, ladies and gentlemen. And it is available now. The book just came out. It's available now wherever you get your books on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Barnes & Noble.
And we just got an email saying that you could get the ebook. So that's awesome.
Yes, I saw that was an option now. So you can get it via ebook. If you use a Kindle, you use another app, your iPad, your whatever your device you like to read on. Ladies and gentlemen, Damon Dickson. Damon, welcome back to the podcast. How do we find you today, sir?
I'm good, man. I'm good. Just been waiting on this to talk about the book and see my guys. I haven't seen you guys in a while, and definitely in a minute. So this is a good day for me. This is a good day for me, man. I've been real anxious about this book getting out. It's been a journey trying to get it done, and so at this point, man, it's just let's see what happens. And I had somebody ask me, it's like, well, why are you writing the book? I said, well, it's partly for my kids and my grandkids.
Sure.
To get an idea of what how I came about, and that's from birth, and birth was adversity stuff as well. So it's just a story of my life, man. I'm gonna just keep it that short because I don't want to give away anything out of the book itself. But it's just a story of my life, and then there's also quotes or thoughts of the lessons learned from all of these things that happened in my life. So.
Yeah. Hey, I want to jump in here real quick. First of
Yes,
all,
sir.
bro, congratulations, man. I'm so
Thank you,
proud.
bro. Thank you, brother.
I really am, man. I'm super excited to hear your story. I can really resonate with some of the things that you were saying. It's just like And a lot of us have lived really full lives, but I feel like, Damon, we've done a lot of amazing things,
Yes, we have,
a
man.
lot of fun things to share. And so I'm excited to hear your story, man. And I just want to say kudos because you said something that really I thought about. It's like you're doing this for your kids and your grandbabies and stuff like that. And
Yeah,
I thought that was amazing.
yeah.
And here we are over 40 years later. And I'm going to share something. Jay and Kirk, this is an exclusive. Damon didn't even know I was going to bring this up.
Oh.
But I remember the first time that I met and seen Damon. And so Damon went to a rival high school called Minneapolis North, and I went to Minneapolis Washburn. And let me tell you something. Now, okay, let me go ahead and get this clarified. Over the years, I've told this story about basketball that may or may not be true. My memory might be a
Yeah,
little fuzzy.
you
Right?
know.
So Damon played for North, and I'm gonna tell you guys, this brother, okay, he was a baller. And they had a wonderful team. Who was on that team, Damon? Ben Coleman?
Ben Coleman, Pat Burston, Mike
Yeah.
Esau, Daryl Brown, myself. We have one white guy on our team, like remember what was the show, The White Shadow?
White Shadow.
Yeah, one white guy on our team. His name was Jeff Mastrud, and then we had a bunch of players that came up after us: Ted Belfield, Next Haven, and a bunch of
Oh,
these other
yeah.
guys. Yeah, so we had pretty good squad, man. We were like, I think we went one year. We went something like 25-2.
Yeah,
We
you
lost
guys
it, but we lost the game that would have put us in state, though, right, Huck?
Yeah, but you guys had more talent than any other team in the state of Minnesota. The
True
team
that.
was great.
True.
And so what I thought was really interesting, that was like 1979, and I seen and met Damon, and it's just amazing if you would think about less than 6, 7 years later, we would be working together.
Right.
And here we are now telling this story, man.
Yeah,
It was just
man.
really
Yeah.
interesting how things can work out. But the brother was a hooper. Hey, I gotta tell you
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, man. I
You know?
appreciate it, Huck. I say this, and I'm not gonna give anything away, but I talk about my journey through basketball uh, in the books. It's
Did you
just
talk about the
crazy.
game? Did you talk about when I slammed
No,
on Tony?
no, I didn't tell everybody you dunked on me, man. I didn't. I don't want everybody to know that. I don't. I mean, I just don't want to put that out there.
And once again, that may or may not be true.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back a ways, man. I was so caught up in basketball, football, and baseball, and back then I was like that Deion Sanders and Bo Jackson.
Oh
I was trying to play all sports, man.
All
I didn't
sports.
care, and I really wanted
Yeah.
to be. I really wanted to play basketball, and I got blackballed because I had a kid in my senior year.
Oh.
You know what I mean? So it kind of cut the basketball stuff out. But lo and behold, moving down the line, I, got into the little dance stuff, and the opportunity opened to be a part of something bigger than that. So
Damon, I wanted to ask you because you have stories for days, and I know you tell a lot of the stories in the book. But I want to talk about the actual writing of the book. What was your biggest challenge in writing the book?
some of the personal stuff that went on in my life, opening up about some really serious things that went on, and how I dealt with them. Those were the challenges. Do you talk about it? Do you battle with your mind and things that, well, if I throw that out there, what's going to happen, and that kind of thing. But then, sitting and talking to my wife, and when she was explaining it to me, she's like, it's your story. You know what happened to you, but look at you now. Look at the way you dealt with it throughout my life. And she only knows, a small portion of what my life was like with all the things that was going on personally. And, so when we were talking about it, the personal stuff, she just said, just, be as honest as you can. And, people are going to be people. You're going to get criticism. You're going to get people that might get in their feelings. You're going to get people that might, that might help somebody with them stories and with the solution for what all of it is. So the challenge was just the personal stuff for me.
You know what, man? I'm going to tell you something that I have, man, is that you have always been one of the most authentic brothers that I've ever been around. And
That's
so,
appreciated, man.
with all these Prince pages that are out there that are just doing stuff to profit, and it's very obvious
No, yes,
that are doing that,
yes,
it's so refreshing to be able to come to a real source of information of people that were around him.
yeah,
I'm hoping that not only can we talk about your book, but we can also talk about what that was like. I just
Yeah,
recently wrote
yeah.
an article about, people don't know that Prince was a joker. I mean,
I
like,
saw that. I
yeah,
saw that. I saw that post,
Yeah,
brother, and I was gonna
was
comment
great.
on it. And I said, you know what? I'm actually gonna get a chance to talk to her,
yeah,
so I'm gonna leave that for the time being. But yeah, to be honest with you, man, I've always felt like I was that truth when it came to that situation. Prince was, of course, everybody knows he was a perfectionist. Everybody knows that, he was one of the talentedest musician to ever cross the music industry. Um, but there's a side of him that people don't know. I mean,
yeah.
beside him knowing everybody's position in the band and in what the crew needed to be doing and who's working light and sound and whatever, that brother had jokes. You hear
Mhm.
me? I mean, we had your mama joke. We did the dozen. Your mama
Yes,
was
we
this and
did.
that. We did those quite a bit. And I did actually came out on the stage in a wig and a skirt, and he called me Kirk's mama. Remember that? Remember that? Hank? He said, that's
Yeah.
Kirk's mama, y'all. We trying to keep her in the back. I was like, oh my God. So he got jokes, and he knew everybody, and he just had, it wasn't like a dry humor. If he wanted to get at you, he knew how to throw that, play that game. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? The dozens was something he grew up doing too, so he had to know.
And remember Bonnie, man, Bonnie was rough.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah,
Bonnie
he
would
was
be
tough.
tearing people up, guys.
Yeah, yeah. So we came in on the tail end of Bonnie, but Bonnie, I remember one time we were doing like working on a routine for one of the videos, and Bonnie came, her, Sheila, and Kat came into the room where we were working out at. So we down on the floor doing these little dance, so we was down on the ground doing some little, sexual shit. We look up in the mirror and they standing behind us, and we're like, look at them little old asses. Bonnie. I was like, oh my God. And then
Guys,
you just
Bonnie
gotta
was
catch yourself.
something else.
Yeah, Bonnie was something else, man. She was good people, man, and love her to death, love her to the soul. But she
Uh,
was funny, man. She was
we, we,
funny.
we had Matt Fink on, and he told some stories about Bonnie that she just was absolute cut everybody up. I so wish we could have gotten to know her.
So, Dana, somebody sent me a sound check from over the years, and we're playing the dozens, and I'll have to share that with you. And I shared it with Jay and Kirk, man. But so it was me and Dwayne going against Bonnie, and Bonnie was lighting us up, man.
Oh wow. Oh
It's
wow.
hilarious. I'll have to let you hear it.
Man, yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah.
And
It,
just
You
for
know,
all our listeners out there, we're not gonna leave you hanging. I'm gonna talk to Jay the Magic Man. We're gonna go figure out a way to do a clip, and y'all can hear some of that.
okay, okay. Yeah,
oh, I
that'd be
like that.
cool. That'd be cool. Right?
Now, Damon, when you were talking about the video that they were clowning you on, you were practicing a dance routine. Was that for Glam Slam, maybe? Because you guys are in
Yeah,
the Glam
yeah,
Slam
yeah,
video, right?
yeah. That was for the Glam Slam video. Yeah.
Because there's one shot of y'all going, there was a drum
Yeah,
hit or something. Y'all,
yeah,
right before I think he sings "This Thing We Got, It's Alive."
yeah, yeah,
Y'all show up in that video, and you can see Eric pretending to play the violin.
yeah.
It's just like,
Yeah, that was the video we was working on, and
yeah.
we did some stuff on the ground, but then we cut it out. We were like, we ain't gonna do that, especially after I had them standing behind us looking at our butts and stuff. So
You know, I
Yeah.
I have a question for Damon and Hucky, and
Oh,
hopefully you can each talk about the bond that you share, having worked together and having worked with Prince, and looking back on it now, some 30 odd, 40 odd years later, what that means to both of you, and how you all both connect because of
yeah.
that bond.
Man, I'll just say, coming into that situation, and Huntington was always accessible to us. They always made sure we was all right and that stuff. But they always had jokes for us too. There was times that we would be, you had to be careful about going in your dressing room because you didn't know what was going to be going on in your dressing room. Might be something in there, somebody doing something, or your carpet might be wet, or something might be, you didn't know what was happening, so you go in your dressing room and you're creaking in like this, because you knew they had jokes. But our chemistry was always cool, man. I love the heck out of Hucky and Dwayne and all them guys. Joey, we had a brother named Joey that was on the road with us, man. Joey was cool. And they all were just, very professional in their thing. And then we had the little comedic sides of, just us being brothers. You know what I mean? It was like family. You know what I mean? And Prince just kind of fit that mold to where we all just, you were comfortable enough to be yourself.
Yeah.
When it was time for business, it was business. It was time to, get out there and do your thing. But then when there was that time when we just had them down times where you're sitting around eating and just talking, yeah, it was just always something new, always something going on. Never a dull moment, man.
And Damon's so right. I want to talk about that whole vibe that we had because you talked about when it was time for business, it was business. But Prince led with that.
Yeah.
We had fun, we had a great time, and Damon's right, guys. And I don't always bring this up, but I was terrible. I was a notorious. Me and Gilbert were absolutely horrible. There's a story that there's something that we did to a guy by the name of Mark Adelman, who was our tour manager.
Oh yeah.
Sign at a
Heard the name.
time. And so
Mhm.
Prince, and I don't know why, I don't know why but he used to get these big old industrial strength bottles of Johnson and Johnson baby powder, and he had like about 100 of them. I don't want to hear any jokes or anything like that. I can't tell you why we had them. Okay, but we had them. So we had this whole little chain with Gilbert on leads, myself, and a couple other people, and we would play jokes on you. And so what we did is, being security, we could get access to the room. And I remember going to Mark Adelman's room,
Mm.
David, one night. I said, "Oh, we got to go in there in this room," and the housekeeping let me in. And so I opened up his pillowcase and I took one of these big old bottles and I emptied it.
Man.
So I put it real neat right back in there. And then what we would do, and I can't believe that I'm not in jail because we would put these candles on your bed just to let you know that you had gotten hit. And it would say, "Sign of the times, mess with your mind." And then we wouldn't say
Wow.
anything else. And I left Mark's window open, and this is like on about an 18th floor of a hotel.
Wow.
I leave, and Mark comes in and he sees the candle burning on the bed. Right now, today I'm like, "Oh my God, you dummy! You could have burned down the whole room and everything." But when you're kids and you're in the 20s, you do stuff like that. So he's digging around the room, you guys, and he's like, "Okay, I don't see anything that they've done." He was in his room. He told me for about 45 minutes. So he blows out the candle, you guys, and he's tired. He's been working all day. And he said he just dives right into the bed, face first, and the pillow and the powder just explodes. I'm running out of his room, face all white with baby powder. He sees him, it's like, "What is going on?" And then he looks at me and Gilbert, he's like, "No, you guys didn't." It's like, "Yeah, we did." But
My
that's the
dude.
kind of practical jokes that we used to play. We were terrible. Getting back,
Yeah.
Jay, to your
Yeah.
question, it's like whenever I see anybody from that era that I work with, it's an automatic connection. And it doesn't matter black or white, man.
Yeah.
We just had this thing, man, that
Yeah.
we bonded. It was like, yeah, if you can work for Prince, you have to be something special.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
And
yeah.
that's not to say that, stuff with Prince, cause Prince was good to us, but then, Prince could be Prince. You
Exactly.
know? But
Yeah.
when I see Damon, when I
Yeah.
see Tony, when I see Kirk, and anybody, and even people that I never had a chance to work with, we all had this common thread. Like, I connected with some people from Third Eye, help me out. What's the
Third Eye Girl.
Third Eye Girl. Mhm.
Did I get it right? Yeah, but
Mhm.
anyway, we were together one night and we just started talking. And we all found that we got this thread, man, this common thread. And so
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
really a brotherhood. When we
Yeah.
started PRing alumni years ago, that was the whole intention, was to have a brotherhood of all of us who work with Prince to be able to have a place that we could connect.
Yeah. Yeah. And like I said, man, you didn't see color. There was no color. I mean, there was times we'd be on buses and when somebody fell asleep, it was all free game. You fall asleep
Oh
while
boy.
everybody's awoke. Oh, you gonna wake up to somebody got a picture of you just in a funny. You better be
Yeah, it was
careful.
terrible.
Yeah. Oh yeah. We weren't no joke, man.
Thank goodness we didn't have cell phones then because we
God,
still might be getting haunted.
I'm telling you, Hucky, I thank God my college and my high school years, I didn't have social media to deal with because some of the shit
It would have been terrible.
Look, I
It would have
got
been
some.
terrible.
Hey, but I got some still pictures though, Huck, of some people sleeping and fingers like this in people's nose.
Oh my gosh.
Trust me, I got a gang of pictures that I developed.
Oh man.
There's gonna be a swap meet after this episode is over with, ladies and gentlemen.
Absolutely, man. Yeah,
Love it.
we didn't see color, man. I think back then it was just everybody that was involved in working. That's everybody from the crew to the wardrobe girls to the makeup people to the techs and everybody, man. It was just it's family. Everybody knew they had a job to do, and if there was some time to sit down and shoot the breeze and laugh and talk, man, you got to know everybody, man. So
Sure. When's the last time you 2 have actually been in the same room in person?
The last time they had the thing at Glue,
Yeah, yeah. So a couple
that was
years.
yeah, it's been a couple years. Yeah.
Damon, I want to ask you, obviously, your presence on social media, you're very accessible. You answer a ton of questions. We were with you out in Minnesota last year. We were at a couple of clubs, people coming up to you, wanted to
Yeah.
take a picture with you. You have this, you're beloved in the community.
Yeah,
What
absolutely.
what does the recognition and the admiration of the fans mean to you?
Well, I mean, first and foremost, man, none of these people wouldn't even know me if it wasn't for Prince, you know? So I always will give him the kudos and the utmost respect about bringing us out on the road. So for me, meeting fans, I'm never going to be that person that want to stand behind people and be like, oh, no, I'm good. I feel cool. That's not who I am. I've never been that. Even when I was on the road, Hucknam used to have to send somebody out in the crowd to come get us because we'd be out there mingling and just hanging out. And it was about connecting with them, because who the hell's buying the music? Who's out there giving you your props?
Right,
It's
right.
the fans. I have no problem with fans. I love, mixing in with them and stuff, and I don't mind answering questions. I think a lot of times people, when they ask questions about certain things, I think I always ask, you want the truth? You want me to sugarcoat it? Because I'm not good at sugarcoating.
Nope.
I'm not good at sugarcoating like nothing on none of that stuff. I won't sit there and tell no lie about no stuff. And I got a memory like an elephant, man. I remember shit that happened. And if you had a roach at your house and I was sitting in your living room and saw it from across the room, I'm gonna be like, okay, so these niggas got roaches. Y'all need to put this shit over here. I'm gonna be that person and be like, so that nigga out there, they got a roach. What the hell's going on? So I'm just not that person. I'm gonna say what it is. You know what I mean? And not that I'm trying to be mean to anybody or if there's something I have a question want to ask me about something that happened or whatever. I'm speaking truth. I'm speaking what it is. And if people can't handle that, then I always say, you can't handle the truth. Don't Damon. Don't ask me because I'm gonna tell you exactly what it is. You know what I mean? It's like, I try to keep myself in that. My mother was always, speak your mind. Stop that sugarcoating stuff. That's not, you don't sugarcoat no shit. Don't lie to nobody about anything, and don't act like you don't see it. If there's something going on and you can speak on it, speak on it. But if it ain't none of your business, like when I was little, it was during them times, your kids don't supposed to be in grown folks conversation and stuff. And I'm sitting in there listening and stuff, and then you get that this ain't for you. And I keep that in mind when I'm, dealing with things. So, I love the fans. I think, for me, it's like always hearing them say that we brought joy or something to them. What we did with Prince opened him up a little more for certain things. Like the way our band was different from the Revolution. The Revolution was different from when Sheila and them was in the band, Sheila and Bonnie them. And then here we are, a different set. You know what I mean? Third Eye Girl's a different set. The band that he used after us with Mike and Morris and Sonny and Tommy and Maite, that was a different set of people. And then they went into that MTG era. You know what I mean? Everything was different. It's always different. So you got to look at it as what did we bring to the table? And people always said to me, and I get this a lot, is that we brought, I don't know if they tried to say that we brought him back to the Black Hood. And I'm going, what the hell does that mean? We brought him back to the Black Hood? What are you talking about? He was black. What are you talking about? He said, well, he started catering to the black audience. I say, okay, I don't really see it that way, but if that's what y'all want to believe, you know what I mean? So for me, he was always, instrumental in what we did, and he gave us free realm to do what we wanted to do choreography wise. I've always been, very thankful for that because he didn't really stop us from doing anything that we did. I mean, we did some crazy stuff on stage.
Yeah.
You hear me? We told him we wanted to jump off the back of the stage onto something, and he went and got a big old one of them big cushion things for us to jump off the back of the stage.
Cool.
So listen to us in certain things, and then there was times he would, have his idea of what he wanted us to be. I remember the first time we went on the road, he told us he had a line on the stage of there was a black duct tape in front of the stage, and he said, "Don't come past this line because this is where Mom will be at, and you guys stay back there and do that." And the show got in good, and we got to getting comfortable. Went across it, and you kind of seen him look out the corner of his eye like, I know these niggas didn't just come out my line I said over here just a minute ago. But it happened. I mean, we started getting into it. You know what I mean? It's like, well, and then after a couple shows, he's like, they're gonna do whatever they're gonna do. Can't change it, you know.
So, Damon, the last time we had you on, you said, and we asked you about some of your favorite performances. One of the ones you highlighted was Arsenio Hall's show.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
Arsenio was the guy to be on if you were promoting music back in the day.
yeah, yeah.
Can you talk us through the experiences you had? How much preparation did you have at the studio site, or did you all practice it at Paisley and then you
Well,
did it?
we rehearsed at Paisley, and then we did the bulk of the rehearsal at Paisley, and then we went out to L.A. and then they rented out a warehouse area where we went in, a couple of days before the show and started
Okay.
doing, going through everything for there. Um, but by the time we did our center, we had
Yeah.
been already rolling.
Yeah.
And so everything was just fine tuning. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And before we did the show with Prince on our Center Hall, we went out there with Tevin Campbell.
Yeah.
So we did Round and Round from Graffiti Bridge.
Yep.
Okay.
That's
So
right.
we did that, and then
Right.
the funny stuff was
Right.
we did that, and then we finished that show, and Arsenio came up and he's like, he was talking to Tevin. He's like, "Hey, your show was great and your band was blah, 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 blah." Never said a word to not one of us in the band. Nobody. Didn't say nothing to none of us. So we was like, really? You just spoke to him and you ain't say nothing to us? Fast forward, we go back and do it with Prince,
Mhm.
and we're, at rehearsal. And here he comes with his little secretary lady. They're kind of watching because they want to make sure he ain't doing nothing unusual or
Mhm.
surprise. And so he introduces. Prince goes, yeah. So you remember band? They came out with Tevin and we had told Prince that that he kind of didn't say nothing to him. And so Prince goes, you remember the band? They would have went to play with Tevin when he came out. And they was like, he's like, oh yeah, yeah, yeah. What's up, fellas? And he went to doing this like he's gonna. And we all was just standing there like, yeah. So now you want to speak, huh? And we and Prince knew we was getting ready to get him. So
Oh,
it was
wow.
too funny because he was like, oh no, it wasn't like that, fellas. I wasn't trying to be like that, fellas. Sorry about that. But he did speak to us and stuff after that, and it was, we just kind of left it at that. But yeah, the preparation for it, man, and getting ready for that show was kind of like just in sync already because we had already been doing it for a minute and just fine tuning little things and
Yeah.
taking some songs out and what we were gonna do
Mhm.
and what we ain't gonna do. So it wasn't too bad at all, man. I mean, Prince, if you know Prince, we were gonna be prepared regardless. If he
Oh,
changed
yeah.
a song that night, you were gonna be prepared. You know what I
Yep.
mean? So
Yep.
Yeah, because if you wasn't prepared, you wouldn't have a job, and that didn't matter if you was on
No.
the stage.
yeah, you wouldn't have a job and you'd be fined.
Yeah, you had to be one step ahead of him.
One step ahead.
I want to go back to your book, man. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
aha moment when you said, you know what? Not only have I been thinking about this, but I'm gonna do it. What was that moment like? And I heard you earlier tell us that you wanted to do it for your legacy, for your children and your grandkids. But why now? Why was it the right time? And what made you say, I'm gonna go ahead and get this done?
Well, being that my life has changed dramatically, man, from moving from Minnesota and, again, brothers kicking me out of their little groups and, I just not performing and feeling like, man, I need to, but in my heart, I kept saying, I need to do this for me because it's something I've been wanting to do. And it's not about nobody else. I didn't do this to satisfy anyone else but myself. And I
Mhm.
thought about my mother. And my mother has been on my heart all this time with all that because me getting this opportunity to be with Prince, um, she was around when I did Purple Rain, but she passed away in 87, 86. We got the job with Prince in 89, 90.
Mm.
So for me, it's just to honor her. The turning point for me on it was just my life has been such a up and down, like a wave, man, with all the things that ever happened in my life. It's like, you think you're up, now you're down. I find myself struggling at things and then finding my voice again and peace. So, and then, my wife has really been instrumental in talking to me about it. And she's like, you might as well tell your story, and for me, it was just knowing that right now, I'm at a stage in my life. I just turned 65 in December. And I'm like, hey, why not get your story out now? Now, mind you, I had another book already that I have all the pages for it, and I just said, we're not even going to use any of that.
I was going to ask
And
about that.
it was more about, in that book itself, it was more about a lot of how I got in the band, stuff that happened in the band, all that other stuff.
Mhm.
And I was like, you know what? I don't even want to talk about that. I don't even want to talk about that. What I want to talk about is my life. Because when you come into this world and the doctor tells your mother that you're not alive, that's a story in itself. I'm a living testament of being a premature baby at 1.5 pounds.
Oh,
You hear me? 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds, and I'm still here. Things like that is what really pushed me to be like, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and write this book about my life. I need to go ahead and do this so people really get to know some intimate part of my life or who I am. Yes, I can be Damon the professional. We can sit and have these conversations, and I can also be Damon the asshole. You choose who you want to talk to.
Right.
Damon or Damien.
So
Right.
for me, Huck is just, it's just that I knew it was time for me to write this and not worry about what anybody else was gonna think. Now, don't get me wrong. Don't think like for me, it's like I'm sitting there going, "Whew, I just hope people like it." I could care less if you have an opinion or you feel like something's wrong with what I said.
Yeah,
And
there's
it's a
always
short
gonna be those
read.
haters though, I mean,
Of course,
especially once you put yourself out there, you're
yeah.
always gonna have somebody that's gonna have their 2 cent and something to say.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I'm gonna give y'all a story. We were out on the road after Prince passed, and we had Kirk with us, and everybody, there was people that want to have their personal thoughts about Kirk, but Kirk's my friend, and I know Kirk inside out. You hear me? I know that brother is heart. I know who kind of person he is, and some lady was on my page because I posted a picture of everybody that went out on the road with us after Prince passed, and Kirk's picture happened to be on there. And this woman on my page, on my post, started, saying all kind of shit about Kurt. Hey, he's a fucking murderer, and blah, blah. She was just really going off. And I was like, say, hey, and I was professional. I said, hey, typing her back. I said, hey, excuse me. I said, please don't do that on my page. If you want to have a conversation about that, you can go to my inbox and we can have a one-on-one. And then she's like, like cursed me out and started talking about, well, maybe you had something to do with his death too. Okay. Right then, I went to you skank ass bitch, and I posted it to her. I get a call from Morris. I get a call from Jill. They both on the line. Hey man, you might want to take that down, man. We trying to be out here do the show. We can't, what I mean? These are fans, man. And I said, man, I don't give a fuck who she is. She straight up tried to say I had something to do with Prince's death. First of all, you don't even know my position with him. You don't know what kind of friend he was to me. Secondly, Kirk's my friend. I know Kirk wouldn't kill a fucking fly if it flew on him and it was biting. So stop that bullshit. So they was mad at me. And they wanted me to, apologize to this lady. I was like, all right, I see what y'all trying to do. So I went ahead and apologized. And then I told Morris and Jill, I said, first of all, y'all should have been blocking her and telling her to not say nothing else at me. Simple. I'm not gonna sit here and let somebody call and say some shit that ain't true.
Yeah.
And especially when it comes to me, So I kind of went left field on it. And then after that, when I think the change of them not wanting me to be there or whatever, and it's all good. You do what you got to do. Y'all wanted to claim it was something else, and yeah. We done. We done. I would not. That's like if somebody come to me and say something about Hucky, and I know Hucky. I'd be like, so first of all, you need to, take that off your list. Don't put that up. Don't do that. Don't do that.
And going back to Prince, because I've seen that and heard that over the years. And this is one thing that I want to make really clear to anybody that was not in his sphere, that didn't know him. Prince is going to do what Prince is going to do. And nobody, okay, I want to be really clear on that. Nobody can tell him anything different. And so it's hilarious to me where people would say, well, if I would have been around him, I would have did this. No, you wouldn't have. And here's why.
Thank you.
If you weren't on the program with Prince, you wouldn't have been there.
Thank
You'd
you.
be gone.
Thank
And so for people to tell us that, oh, this is what I would have done, you wouldn't have,
you. No, you wouldn't have.
you
No, you
know?
wouldn't have.
And I got to go back to Larry Graham for a minute. I've heard over the years people just like say all these horrible, mean, nasty things about Larry Graham, and they want to say that Larry Graham brainwashed Prince. And that is the most ridiculous thing that I've ever heard because once again, if you knew Prince, Prince was never ever going to do anything that he didn't want to do.
Want to do.
Mhm.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly. Yeah.
you'd have had a couple options. You could have like, you know what? What you're doing is self-destructive. I need you to do this, and you would have had your 2 words, and you wouldn't have been around the next day.
Exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. I remember him asking me. He sent me to New York to go watch a damn ballet. He wanted me to find some dancers. I come back. He said, "You find some dancers?" I said, "No." I said, "But why'd you have me go to a ballet?" He said, "I thought maybe y'all see some moves that you like do." I said, "Bro, I'm not gonna do. You ain't gonna have me in no tutu. That ain't happening." And then he looked at me and he went, "You think I do that?" I said, "Man, we talking about you, bro. Come on, man. Come on.
You
Come
never
on."
know.
You never know. So, but you can't, and I'm agreeing with Huck, man. You just can't. I've heard that same stuff. People, if I was there, I would have been. Stop with all that, man. Stop with all that. You have no clue. It's not saying that Prince was a saint. That's saying that he was, like, he couldn't do no wrong. Come on, man. Come on, man. I have days where I know I can be an asshole, but I'm not, I don't treat everybody that way. Listen, you come at me incorrect, you're going to get some incorrect shit done to you or said to you, That's
Jay,
just
you
my.
could probably. I don't think there's a person on the screen that hasn't had their days. Jay, you've seen
Yeah.
me. You've seen me at my less than finest.
And you've seen
I've also seen glimpses of that. I try
and
to
you
keep.
you have seen me at mine as well. So
Oh,
Yeah,
ooh. But it's like neither Jay or I were there, and we've had
yeah,
the pleasure of getting to know the two of you and having intimate conversations about this very subject. And again, we weren't there. And I think what people forget is Prince is a maverick. Like you said, Hockey, he's going
yeah,
to do what he's going to want to do. He was a maverick in so many different ways. He forged a different path. When other music stars were going left, he went right.
okay,
You
so
know,
let me touch on that just for a minute, because a couple of things happen. You get people, to your point, if you weren't there, you obviously wouldn't have done something because you weren't there. I only interacted with Prince 3 times in my life, and they were very, very brief interactions. So, and I've said this before, I'm not going to sit there and say
Yeah.
knew him, we were friends, because it's just not the case. I was talking to somebody once and I said, he was nothing but cordial to me when I spoke to him. And somebody said, well, yeah, because he knew how to behave. And I said, well, that's what? Um, I wouldn't have expected him to be any different because I wasn't in that inner circle. I wasn't a friend of his. We didn't have that relationship and that camaraderie. So it just struck me as funny how somebody else would think that they could speak and it was somebody who was outside the camp. It struck me as funny how they would speak for him or speak to his behavior when you were just a fan like I am. So
yeah.
it was just very weird.
Yeah, you get a lot of people that's like that. They want to, say what they would have did if they was
Yeah.
in the same situation, whatever the
Yeah.
situation may be.
Mhm.
And again, like Huck said, if you think for 1 minute you're gonna go up to P and say, "Hey, man, you shouldn't be, you shouldn't, I don't think you ought to do this on your show, man." He'd have looked at you like, "Oh, you think so?" And as soon as you turn around, he'd be like, "Huck, come get this nigga out of
Yep.
here right now."
And that's exactly what I was going to say. You could have said it, but that would have been the last words you said to him.
That was the last thing you
Mhm.
said to him.
Well,
Like
yep.
Damon said, whether it was Aaron, Chick, Hucky, Gilbert, one
It
of us
didn't matter.
like, oh, you know what? You're going to be moving on here. We're taking your access away to Paisley.
Yeah, like for real. I mean, it was to the point where I was even playing defense. We was in Paris and we did a show there and I saw a girl and she was like really, I thought she's a beautiful girl. So, I offered her a chance to come to the show. Well, got her into the show in the back, I had a little free pass and she started asking me questions about where was Prince. Dude, I took the security my own self. I said, "Oh, well, yeah, I don't know." And she was, so I said, "Hey, so here's what I'm gonna do." I took her to another door. I walked her down this corridor around this. We was in this building and it was a long hallway. And I took her to this door. I said, "Yeah, he'll be coming right outside this door right here." And she went, "Oh, really? Oh my God." I said, "Yeah, yeah, yeah. Just go on out here and just stand there," and closed the door on it. And it was on the other side of the building. And I came back and I remember Joey asking me. Joey was like, he said, "Hey man, where's that girl that you had?" I said, "Oh, she took her to the door and let her out in the back." He said, "Let her out in the back?" Like, yeah, she started asking questions about Prince. He said, "You kicked her out? You told her he was coming to that door?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "What door?" So me and him walking down this corridor and I said, "It's way down there." And he went, "P ain't coming to that door." I said, "Of course." He said, "You did not just kick her out like that." I said, "Yes, I did." and I walked back. Now, mind you, she just had a free pass on me. She didn't have a ticket to get in the show, so she missed that show because she lied, but she was trying to get a hold of being there. No, I don't play that.
You
No.
were protecting in a way.
And I didn't want to get in trouble with Hucky and them. Then I'd have to deal with
Oh yeah,
get me to bring me to principal's office. No, I'm good.
you go sleep in some baby powder and candle wax.
I don't know, man. I don't know how that sounds. That don't sound too good.
Yeah, that's a little.
Oh, Kirk, that sounds like another podcast.
That's not the electric vibe that I.
That is definitely not electric. No, it's not.
Oh my God.
Hey, Damon, I've got a quick question for you, and I've never known this all these years, and Kurt and Damon probably do because they're Prince historians. And it's funny, me, the guy that works for him, I don't know a lot of this stuff. But how did you guys get the name the Game Boys?
Oh, I don't know.
You know, that's funny because because he told us
Mhm.
he didn't like the name we had. When we got in the band, we had a little thing called Split Level. That was the name of our dance group.
Right.
And that was part of the stuff we did when we had our little band. It was the MPLS band in Split Level. Well, when we got in the band, we were like doing a show. Out of nowhere, he told us, he said, I don't like Split Level. I was like, what do you mean you don't like Split Level? That's the name we're using. He said, yeah. So we're doing the show, and we hear, Game Boy, pump it up. We were like, we look, we kind of like, nigga, he talking about us. Okay.
Oh,
So we had no clue he was getting ready to do it. And then from that point on, he kept saying Game Boy during the show, and we were going, I guess he was really, he didn't like that name. He did not like Split Level. He didn't like the name Split Level.
sorry to interrupt there. Tommy Barbarella talks about the first time he found out his name was Tommy Barbarella because his name was in a local newspaper, and his mom was like, "What the hell? What's this Tommy Barbarella? How come you're not using it?" I don't know. He would, I suppose, he did stuff like that without,
Mark told me the story. I said, man, how you get Brown Mark? He said,
Yeah.
I came in and he just like looked at Mark and said, man, you Brown Mark. And so Mark was like thinking it was something else, but he called Mark Brown Mark because he was the only other black player in the band. Brown Mark. Mark told me that but he would come up with this names for you, man.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, the Game Boy thing, and then we thought about it. We were like, ain't that a video game?
See, that's what I thought. I don't ever remember you guys doing it. So I'm like, well, how did they get Game Boys?
Yeah, we never, he came up with that name and he just threw it on us one night while we were doing the show, like live, and we couldn't, it wasn't, what you gonna say? In the middle of it, like, hey, who are you talking to? And just stand there? No, you start doing whatever
well, like a lot of people out there, you guys
Okay.
could have told him no, Damon. You could have said, no, we are not using that name.
Yeah, right.
Oh, yeah, right.
Hey, man. Hey, no, it's Split Level, man. No, we Split Level. Is that cool?
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, you better split.
We'd have had Hucky and Gilbert and them all coming over there. Hey, he wants y'all to leave the stage.
In the middle of the show.
In the middle of the show.
Now,
So we were the
Damon.
Game Boys. We were the Game Boys at that point.
Right,
And then
so-
he started calling us TDK.
Oh, yeah, right. With your first letters of your initials there.
Showing our names. Yeah.
Wasn't there like a cassette called TDKs back in
Yeah,
the
I
day?
was just
Exactly,
thinking
yeah,
about that.
yeah.
Right. So I have to ask you both, Hucky and Damon. So people got nicknames and alternate names and stuff like that. Did you guys ever have? Now, Hucky, you already had a nickname because we refer to you a lot like that. Did you guys ever get another nickname from Prince that you can say on the air? You didn't have an alternate nickname?
Yeah, he didn't mess with my name.
No, I don't think he messed with Huck. I mean, how can you mess with Huck? I mean,
You can't.
I don't want to say his real name on here. I don't know if he go by that, but everybody don't know his name is Harlan.
No, it's on the screen here. Actually,
So Hucky, I mean, that's kind of a cool ass name. How you go?
Right.
Now, when we did aliases for the hotel, everybody had an
man.
alias name.
Alias. Yep.
So tell me, what was your alias? I had 3 of them.
Oh, did you
I know
really?
about one of them.
Yeah.
I know about one of them.
Yeah.
Man, you had 3? Shit.
Well,
you
but
crap.
Damon and Jay Kirk, here's the thing. I was using my regular name, and so and I had at this point in my career had gotten album credits. So he's like,
Yeah.
if they see your name, they know I'm close by you. And he would just say stuff, you guys, like out of the blue. You're like, man, what are you talking about? And I'm like, huh? He's like, your name. I'm like, what about my name? He said, you got Harlan Austin. And he would still you still wouldn't be connecting.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
He'd be like,
right.
you need to change your name and get an alias. And I'm like, okay.
That's what you mean.
I changed
He was-
to C. Armani. That was one of my names.
Oh, you know what? I did see that on one of your badges.
C. Armani.
No, I know, well, I use Silky Slim.
Okay.
And what was the other brother in Uptown Saturday Night? Because Tony was using Geechee Dan Buford.
Yeah, he still uses it.
He still uses it.
Yeah.
And there was another name, but I think me Kirk. I think Kirk was Milwaukee Slim.
Okay.
I think he was Milwaukee Slim, and I was Silky Slim from Saturday Night.
So I'll have to share an itinerary, you guys,
Yeah.
and that I have. Damon, maybe you have some too. But
Yeah.
all the names that we had on Purple Rain, from Prince
Oh,
all the way down. But
Yeah.
it's like we got all these aliases. It was hilarious, man.
yeah, yeah. So them was the only nickname we had on the road. Other than that, nobody. I mean, I don't think we had any other ones other than that. Because that's what we use
Okay.
everywhere. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I always like to ask that because when I met Joan Jett, I was working at the Ramada Inn, Sunrise, Florida, and she was on tour with Robert Plant at the time in late '88. And her alias for the Ramada Inn and other hotels was Jane Hooker. I believe she still uses that alias to this day.
And
Jane
you
Hooker.
just gave it away.
Oh, that's it. Hey, everybody, go get Jane Hooker down at the Clarion Inn and Suites. There you go.
And you
Jane
guys,
Hooker.
so the whole reason why you did this, it was for hotel staff because they would find out what room you were in.
Yeah.
They would share that information. But think about it. If hotel staff sees a list of Jane Hooker, C. Armani, Betty Flounder, Alice Pike,
Yeah.
it's like, okay, it's not too hard to figure it out. But
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, unless you got them fans that just camp out at you, somehow found out that that's the hotel you at.
Yeah.
But
And they're
Damon,
hanging
they
out.
did, didn't they?
Yes.
It happened all the time.
Yes. I remember us being in Germany and we were at this one hotel and there was this big older girl. I mean, she had her shoulders were broader than mine. And she was like, "Hi, you're Damon." I was like, "Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God." Woo,
Man,
Lord,
guys,
Lord.
I would get the call from P, man. He'd be like, somebody's at my door. And they would just find out, man, because we didn't always have security on the floor, but it got to the point where we had to do that all the time because I sure
Yeah.
didn't be sitting out in the hallway all night. So
Yeah, like I said, Big Olga was sitting at my door. I was in my room. I come out, she was sitting on the floor. I was like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Wow.
Like, "No, Olga, you can't
What a
come in my
life.
room."
who would want to do that?
Damon, I have a question I want to ask. I've seen clips of you when you've done your dance classes, and Kurt and I were actually out at one of your dance classes last year during Celebration in Minnesota, and you do a Q&A afterwards.
Yeah.
And something that I took away from your Q&A last year was you were saying that things were getting ready to wrap up, and you had said, "Don't believe that you can't do something." You said, if you need to lose weight, you said, if you think you can't dance, don't tell yourself that you can't do something. Can you tell us how that applies to you writing your book?
Yeah. Because that's just something I've always brought into my life, and that's some of the things why the book is being written. That there was, I was always I played sports and I wanted to be in music stuff, but my mother would always say, don't sell yourself short. You can do anything you want to do. You just have to want to do it and put in the work to make it happen. So for me, it's like I don't, somebody told me, "Oh man, I can't do everything you're doing." I didn't ask you to do everything I'm doing. When you're dancing or if you're doing something, that's like playing sports. If you want to be good at it, you keep doing it. You practice it. You just, you may not be the greatest. I had a friend of mine, loyal to this day. His name is Mark Bow. This dude came to my wedding. Only white guy at my wedding. You hear me? And the music came on. Nobody was on the dance floor. Mark has no rhythm. Mark is like, you talking Charleston. And look, dude went out on the floor, started bringing people out there with him. He got on the floor, and there was a couple girls started getting out on the floor dancing. And Mike did that, how he dropped squat. Yeah. And he was, and everybody, and then a couple brothers. "Man, who's that dude over there? Who's that dude out there with all them girls?" And I said, "Man, y'all leave him alone. Leave him alone. He's dancing. He's having himself a good time." Mike will tell you to this day, I don't have no rhythm. I have no rhythm, but I like to dance. And so for me, it's like you either want to do it or you don't. I tell people all the time, yes, I danced professionally for years. but I've been doing it since I was 2 years old.
Right.
You know what I mean? And so I don't think that you should ever tell yourself you can't do anything. You know what I mean? It's a craft that you over time you'll learn. It's like anything you do. If you want to draw, you want to learn to draw. You're gonna keep on practicing it until you get good at it.
Yep.
It's like playing instruments. You ask anybody that plays an instrument, like, well,
So
when
you
did you
say
start?
you saying there's still hope for me to have a singing career?
Sure, sure. Who said you got to be like the greatest singer in the world? You could be a Neil Sedaka.
Well, Prince once told me I couldn't sing.
Hucky, when's the
Hey,
Crown Heights Affair reunion tour going to
there
happen?
you go. The crown.
I want to be the lead singer of Crown Heights Affair, man.
There you go. You can be that.
Damon,
can
we was
be
in the
that.
elevator, man, and I started, I don't know, I was singing some song. It was elevator music, and I'm singing a song, and he looks at me and says, what do you do for me? I said, I do security. He said, let's keep it that way.
He was just clowning you.
Clown
Or
me
was
all the
he-
time. But,
Of
I
course
like
he
to
was fine.
sing. I love singing.
That's right. I love to sing too, but apparently I was told I wasn't good at that. Although I played in bands and did background vocals and other stuff. So
Yeah.
All right, I got something I want to share here in a minute. Can I share right now?
Absolutely. You got the
yeah,
capability. I think you gave it to
All
me.
right, hold on. I'm getting it ready. Y'all keep talking. I'm
okay.
going to
All
be
right.
sharing something.
Look, my little man's trying to get in the picture.
Listen, you saw I had my cat. What's the dog's name?
This is Rudy Valentino Dixon.
Oh, I love it. Like Rudolph Valentino. Love it.
Okay, are y'all ready?
Yeah.
All right, Damon, you get to tell us about this.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
I can't see it. What you got here?
Oh,
Oh, okay. Well,
Damn. Pimping with the cane and the whole thing.
we was pimping.
where was this at?
I'm not sure where it was at.
Man, y'all was
But yeah, them brothers was clean.
styling. Isn't that Diamonds and Pearls? I forgot their
That's
name.
Diamond and Pearl. Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's the two of them.
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go. Back.
91,
Wow.
92, right? Yeah.
Wow. Oh my God.
Wow.
Yeah.
I got a whole
You
bunch
were-
of those things.
Do you?
Yes, sir. You talk about you got some pictures. Hey, man, I got some pictures now.
You know,
Okay.
I got some pictures.
since
I
you
got,
put
I got a picture of you backstage just standing.
You got to share that one.
Send it to us. We'll put it in post.
since
Yeah,
you
that
put up
was,
that picture, Hucky, there was, just to kind of put it into context, obviously Prince was a superstar. I remember in 91, Diamond and Pearl actually came to Sam Goody in New York City to do a signing. And the reason why I know that is because Robin and I went to that. Okay. And Prince was not there. Okay. It was only, I have pictures of it somewhere. Diamonds and Pearls was like, it was a big hit. And the line was like around the block to meet Diamond and Pearl. I mean, and I was one of the fans that was there. So it was that level of superstardom and magnitude that people just came out to meet them. I shared this story with you, Damon, and like I said, you don't remember this because you've met hundreds of thousands of people, but you made a comment about some of them having to be told to get on stage because you were in the crowd mingling. That's the first time you and I met. I think I told you it was at Radio City Music Hall.
Yeah, you're Radio
For the Act One tour.
Yeah.
And you and Tony came walking in your NPG jackets, and I'm a clown. I said, there's those brothers. I walked up. How you guys doing? Shook hands real quick or whatever.
Yeah.
And it's that type of love that you all still got, then and now, which I think is a testament to what you did and the legacy that you leave.
Yeah. We, like I said, we used to, it was just one of them things before the show, we'd go hang out, and we kind of just wanted to connect with the fans. You know what I mean? It's like just hang out. It wasn't that I want to be some, like come off like I was like, I hated being behind a barricade. I didn't like that part. It's just like, why am I standing back here and why y'all be all this? You know what I mean? So, for me, it's just, I want to meet people. I want to come up and be like, what's up? Hey, how you doing? What's going on? And then, get the bodyguards to come tell you, hey, man, you need it backstage here in a minute. It's like, okay. There was plenty of times that happened and the fans would go, what? And they, especially when we first went out on the nude tour, they didn't know who we were. And you were hanging out in the crowd, and then when they seen you on stage, it was like, oh my God, they were just out here. Like, yeah, I was. And I'm going to continue doing that, so it's all about the fans. The fans is what makes us who we are. At the end of the day, you can say what you want to and be all these celebrity and act a certain way and run around with your shades on and be, at the end of the day, man, you're just regular like everybody else. Because
Yep.
when that's all said and done and it's over, then what you gonna do?
Right. Right.
Well, man, I just want to tell you, man, and I tell the guys, it's always so fun for me to be able to reconnect with people that I worked with for years ago and I have a relationship. And Damon, man, I got to tell you, man, when I knew that you were going to be on today, it's like it made my whole day.
Yeah,
Warmed me up,
yeah,
man. And
yeah,
it's just like, this the bond that I
Yeah.
have with you and
yeah,
Tony,
yeah,
Kirk, and just
yeah.
so many other friends, man. It's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's
I
like,
remember. You remember when I was working at Allianz Life Insurance, and I went over to the car wash, and we happened to run each other at the car
oh yeah,
wash.
yeah.
Yeah, yeah. It was like things like that. I pull up and like see that, like, man, what you doing here? It was like, oh man, I'm just over here getting my car washed. So
And the thing too, guys, it's like we all had that mind. You may not have seen somebody in years, months, or whatever, but soon as you see them, it's just like, oh, you like start
yeah,
like right
yeah,
where you left off, like it was
Yeah.
yeah,
yesterday.
yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've been that. So when Kurt said you was gonna, he said, I think Huck's gonna be on. I said, oh shit, yeah, this is gonna be good.
It's raw. You get
This is
uncut.
raw and
Right.
uncut. Yeah.
Hey man, tell us where can we get your book at, man?
Okay, so yeah, so you can if you're looking to read it, and it's a short read, so you can read this book in a day if you wanted to. So you can get it on Barnes and Nobles, and you can get it on Amazon. And I'll get you guys the links and stuff for it. I think you can go to my page and you'll find links on them and whatever. But yeah, go to Amazon and get it. You can also get it for like all the people that were in Europe that was messaging me. For some reason, Amazon was messing up. They couldn't get it, whatever. You could get it from Author House, the publishing company who had worked with me and got the book out. Author House is the other site that you can get the book on.
Okay.
Yeah. Is there an audio book, Damon?
Yeah, there's an ebook. There's an ebook. There's no audio. I ain't balling like that.
You told me.
I wish I could, but
Well, remember, you could do anything you put your mind to.
Oh, Jay, had to go there. Had to go there, Jay.
Shoot, man, with AI now, you could have AI clone your voice and you could knock it out probably in a day, man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you're right. Yeah, you're right, man. I mean, let me take that back. I'll look into it.
Let's just say this is dipping your toe into the water, getting the book out there, and then
Exactly.
Kurt, do you want to take us home?
yes, sir. Damon, I always know one thing. No matter what highs or lows you've been through or what have you, I know that we're going to have a good time talking with you. You keep it funny, you keep it real, and just wouldn't have it any other way. I mean, we really appreciate you coming on. And once again, to echo the guys, congratulations on, first of all, your marriage to the lovely Paisha, who Jay and I had the honor of meeting when we were at Celebration last year. And we know like I told you on the phone, you know what nugget of gold you got there with her. And we wish her well and wish you two well. Yeah. Congratulations on the book. And congratulations making it on to 65, man. Look, you don't look it, buddy. You don't look it.
I look at it this way, man. My mother passed away at 46. My father was in his 70s.
Okay.
And you are qualifying for Medicaid.
Hey, I'm getting that free that $5.99 bill. All right, is it rolling? So it don't matter to me, man. I mean, I'm aging, and you either take it for what it's worth and try to keep yourself healthy and stuff. And I tell people you gotta eat healthy, man, and
Yep.
make good choices on your life. Don't sit around and drugs and all the other stuff. I mean, it's okay to have a drink or two. Get a shot of bourbon. Get a shot of bourbon.
We wouldn't know anything about that, Hucky, would we?
I don't know nobody on here that know about no bourbon.
Yeah, right.
I don't know nothing about bourbon, no bourbon. So
So
once again, Damon, thank you so much for coming back on. Folks, once again, the Damon Dickson Story available on Amazon.com, both in a paperback format and ebook. So you can read it on your Kindle or e-reader, whatever you got there. Ashley, it's Opera House? Author House. Okay, my old ass ears, I can't hear anymore.
Just go to Author House. I think it's authorhouse.com.
We'll have a link in there for you.
And you go on this thing and you can order it directly from them.
And Barnes and Noble, so support the bookstores,
I'm going to try to work out something down the road here because there was a lot of people that hit me up asking, how can they get it signed? So I'm going to have to figure out something for the people that want to get their book signed.
Eric?
You can do a book tour, brother.
Get Eric on it. Yeah.
That's a good idea, huh?
Yeah.
See?
Yep.
You going to come? Look, I'm going to need you there.
Hey, man.
Look, hey, so let me before y'all let me off here, Huck. So what you gonna do on your end, man? As far as a book.
Ooh.
So Damon's talking about me writing a book. And so what I have done is I turned my page into a public page and I've been sharing stories. And here's why. And I'm not going to mention them, but there's like 3 print sites right now that are ran by, I won't say AI, but the only thing that they're trying to do is to gain money, and they don't care about the fans. They don't care about Princess Legacy or anything like that. And so they're just putting out content. And like I said, it doesn't take too much to go on Facebook to figure out who it is. And
AI
so that really
sloppy.
got me upset,
Right.
because this was like, you know what, the fans deserve better than that. And so I love like what Damon's doing, and there's a lot of us. It's like, doesn't it make sense to hear from people that were actually around him? And so that's what I've been doing. Far as writing a book, you know the story there, Naaman, and so I'm not certain. I have a lot to tell, and I may just keep sharing my stories online right now, and we'll just see. I'll say one last thing, and I think everybody here will know what I'm talking about. But my dad used to tell me all the time, "Let time take care of time." So,
Do that. Do that.
a few
Do
things.
Mm,
that. Do
mm.
that. Yeah. Well,
Once again,
you got my support, man. I know, we talked over a text when I was talking to you
Yeah.
about what it is. It's like, books can be hit or miss, and it's really touchy on what you say about certain people, what have you. And some of the stuff that I
mhm,
wrote in my book it was me being very cautious of who I'm talking about or
Mhm.
yeah,
involving, because
mm,
even some of the brothers who was in the band, I chose not to really talk about them too much at all
mhm,
because,
mm,
and I'm gonna just throw this out here. There was people suing our brother for whatever reason. And I didn't understand that, especially when you made money, as much money as you made
mm.
working with him and him giving you these opportunities. For me, that's crazy.
Yeah.
Crazy to think that you would go that far. On the other side of that, they always say, well, it was all business. Regardless, you wouldn't be who you are if it wasn't for him.
Absolutely.
You wouldn't be where you are if it wasn't for him. I wouldn't be sitting here talking to y'all. If I'd have been playing in the NBA, y'all probably wouldn't have known who the hell I was. Y'all have been saying, hey, what's that nigga that tell you? That's not a complaint. But here we are.
You never
Before
know.
that, I took a different career. So,
I could have been your white shadow, man. You never know.
man,
With that, I'm gonna close this out, and then I'll kick it over to you, Jay, and then you can kick it over to Kirk. Hey, there's a lot going on right now. Seriously, there's a lot going on in the world today. And one thing that I continuously like to say at the end of the show is like, be kind to one another.
Well, once again, I'm going to say that, folks, if you like what you see and hear, please remember to like, follow, and subscribe to the Electric Vibe podcast. Every bit of support that you give us allows us to keep
Mhm.
bringing you great, fun content, informative content like we brought. Giving my heartfelt thanks to our brother, Damon Dickson. Congratulations on the book. Thank you for always being very accommodating to us. We really, really appreciate it. I know we'll be seeing you again. And as I like to say before I close, is when the universe comes knocking, you have to answer that door. Kurt?
And before we close on out, once again, Damon, thanks for coming back on and echo the sentiments of the other guys.
for having me.
Once again, get the book, read the book, take a few life lessons from it. And these days, thanks once again for providing laughs for us as well as being real with us, Damon, because God only knows the world could use a lot more love and a lot more laughter at
Yes,
this
sir.
point in time. And as I always like to close with every show, a rising tide lifts all boats. Thanks, folks, and we'll see you on the next episode of The Electric Vibe. Peace.